Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim or Cimnanya, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. I came across this video where he was talking about their founding father and some of the things they did and all that, and how some of them, see them as the greatest or the good people on earth, and how, it's like the good people, and how they never did anything bad and all that. But you and I already knew it. I don't think it's something new for people that look like me. Some of them knew, some of them they refused to acknowledge that some certain things happen. And another one is that when you acknowledge that some certain things happen, then take accountability. But this is something that is far-fetched from where they are. And he went further to talk about how when it comes to people like me, it is very difficult for them to acknowledge that we can actually do some certain things better than them, or we can actually be in prominent positions, because most times when they see black people in some positions, the first thing you hear from them is that DEI did not earn it. But the truth is that the person actually earned it. And all of a sudden, that actually became a slur. They replaced that with the N word. Now, let me say this. The truth is that we are more than qualified. We are overqualified. I have seen a video of them saying that if I see a black pilot, I am going to ask, did he qualify to be there or something like that? Or if I see, or the other one was like, what am I supposed to talk with a black doctor? You know what?
Let's talk about George Washington, the so-called father of our country, the hero with the white wig, right? Think again. Behind that image is a truth as brutal as it gets. Washington wasn't just chopping down cherry trees. He was running a slave empire. By the time he died, he owned over 300 people. This man, leading the charge for American freedoms, was holding human beings in chains, preaching about liberty while operating a forced labor camp at Mount Vernon. Some legacy, huh? And those famous teeth? Not wooden, no sir. They were yanked from the mouths of the enslaved. Funny how that part gets skipped in the history books. Then there's his treatment of the indigenous peoples. The Haudenosaunee called him town destroyer after he burned their villages during the Revolutionary War. His policy? Take land, push people out. All for the glory of his new nation. Expansion at any cost, even if it meant erasing entire cultures. And as president, he set a precedent, all right. Crushed the Whiskey Rebellion using federal troops against farmers who were just protesting taxes. The same guy who fought British oppression turned around and did it to his own people. The irony is off the charts. Plus, he was a wealthy landowner that benefited from a system that exploited the many for the luxury of a few. Preached unity in the common good, but lived a life of privilege far removed from the struggles of common folks. Washington wasn't some untouchable hero. He upheld systems of oppression. His legacy is a tangled mess of hypocrisy and violence. We need to stop glorifying these icons without acknowledging their sins. We can't build a better future if we don't acknowledge the ugly truths of our past. George Washington, the myth, hides a man that was not as noble as we like to pretend. Time to face that. You know why it's not okay to say you're proud to be white? Because whiteness isn't culture or heritage. It's a construct, a tool of oppression. When you say you're proud to be Polish, Italian, Irish, German, any other ethnicity, you are celebrating beautiful histories, cultures, traditions. But white, that's a label forced on us by the elites to strip us of our identities and pit us against each other. Think about it. Our ancestors came from diverse European backgrounds, each with their own unique customs and stories. But the ruling class saw an opportunity. They stole those heritages, lumped us all together under white, and used it to justify their power and control. They robbed us of our heritage, our identity, and forced this label on us to maintain their supremacy. Whiteness was created to uphold a system of exploitation and division. It was never about pride or culture. It was about control. So when you say you're proud to be white, you are unknowingly endorsing a history of oppression and erasure. Instead, let's reclaim our true roots. Be proud of your Polish, German, Irish, Italian, or any other heritages. Celebrate the real cultures that make us who we are, not the artificial construct that is designed to divide and conquer. It's time to reject whiteness and embrace our true identities. Then we might be able to stand against the systems that have oppressed us all. Let's honor our ancestors by remembering who they were, not the labels that were forced upon them. You know why it's not okay to say you're proud to be white? Because whiteness isn't culture or heritage. It's a construct, a tool of oppression. When you say you're proud to be Polish, Italian, Irish, German, any other ethnicity, you are celebrating beautiful histories, cultures, traditions. But white, that's a label forced on us by the elites to strip us of our identities and pit us against each other. Think about it. Our ancestors came from diverse European backgrounds, each with their own unique customs and stories. But the ruling class saw an opportunity. They stole those heritages, lumped us all together under white, and used it to justify their power and control. They robbed us of our heritage, our identity, and forced this label on us to maintain their supremacy. Whiteness was created to uphold a system of exploitation and division. It was never about pride or culture. It was about control. So when you say you're proud to be white, you are unknowingly endorsing a history of oppression and erasure. Instead, let's reclaim our true roots. Be proud of your Polish, German, Irish, Italian, or any other heritages. Celebrate the real cultures that make us who we are, not the artificial construct that is designed to divide and conquer. It's time to reject whiteness and embrace our true identities. Then we might be able to stand against the systems that have oppressed us all. Let's honor our ancestors by remembering who they were, not the labels that were forced upon them. Leftism in the US has a problem. It's dominated by white men. Crazy, right? Because when you look at the history of leftism here, you'll find black folks leading the charge. From the Black Panthers to labor rights, they've been on the front lines. Yet somehow, white dudes are the ones who end up front and center, hogging the spotlight. Why, you might ask? It's because the system always finds a way to let white folks take the reins. It's like we can't help but make it about us, even in movements that are meant to be about equality and justice for everyone. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I almost fell into that trap myself. It's easy to get caught up in your own perspective and forget about the voices that need to be amplified. I mean, just look at the MAGA crowd, for example. They cling to their echo chambers and prop up token voices that fit their narrative. It's like a security blanket for their twisted worldview. I realized that I was doing something similar by trying to use marginalized voices to back up my point of view instead of actually listening and uplifting their perspective. I've had my doubts about Kamala Harris, but instead of just engaging with black voices because they're black and they happen to critique her, I need to support black voices because they're making valid points, not because they're saying something that I want to hear. It's a slippery slope using people as tokens instead of actually valuing their input. It's not about boosting my argument, it's about genuinely respecting and amplifying diverse perspectives. I have to work on checking myself and realize that being a true ally means listening and supporting, not leading and not speaking over. The left in the US has a lot to do in this regard. If we don't get it right, we're just playing a different version of the same old game.
So this is all I got from this video. It's very short but very precise. I absolutely hope that some of them will wake up. Like some of them are already waking up and knowing that some certain things are wrong. We're wrong and still very wrong to this very moment. Like where he talked about did not earn it. I think that one already became part of black people's law. Like, DEI, when you talk about DEI, it's absolutely, you're talking about a black person because why would you be a nurse or a doctor when you are not supposed to be a doctor? You are probably supposed to be a gym trainer, or a heavyweight lifter or something like that. Why? Because they've already concluded that you are built differently and you are not intellectually, you do not have the intellectual capability to do some certain things. So some certain things are meant for them and some certain things are meant for you. And the ones are meant for you are like, trash packers and the rest of it, like doing man labor, job that got to do with labor and all that. That also take me back to sometimes somebody said that if I see a black pilot, I am going to ask if he earned that. So it's not something that is not hidden. It's not something that is new. It's been there all time, all day. And then let's talk about their founding fathers. Majority of them know, but the ones that refuse to acknowledge that they have done some certain things to people that look like me, and to this very moment, they worship them. They're like, they respect them so much. They think that they are really great people. The truth is that some of them, they've refused to go to school, or not just going to school. Even also sometimes you can teach yourself some certain things, because who cannot know it all? But when you do not know a lot, the best you can do is do research to find some certain things in order to be able to know what is happening, or what happened, or what has been going on, or to be in connection, or to know more about history and the rest of it. So they knew most of their founding fathers are just, but they're still hiding it. Why? Because why do we have to admit that, something like this or something like that happened? But it is what it is. Thank you all so much for all the love and support. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.